my understanding and the policy is there is no celebrity that should be treated any differently than any parishioner. And I was seeing behavior and I was seeing things that wouldn't be okay, that are not okay for the average parishioner, but were being made to be okay for Tom. And it didn't matter to me that he was Tom. To me, I saw him as a team member in the Church of Scientology, and we were working on the same thing. I actually thought I was a better example of Scientology than he was, and I wrote reports on him, like internal reports on him, which I didn't realize were kind of getting me to be a target for the church, because I didn't realize his position in the church.
You wrote internal reports?
Yes, we're all required to write reports on each other.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a policy there's a policy about writing reports. So if let's say you and I are Scientologists. Okay, you and I go out one night, right? Like, not like that, Joe, so don't get...
Right,
okay.
I understand.
You seem uncomfortable. With,
no, not at all.
You did, because you said nice as opposed to...
Did I say that?
You said nice.
I don't know if I said nice.
You
Jamie,
said nice.
run
Did he say
that
nice?
back. I don't believe
when
I
I
did.
said...
Okay, I think I probably
Are you
said
looking at my
okay.
sexy nails? He said they're nice.
They are nice, yeah. They're beautiful. Is that better?
It's okay. If you wore cologne, I feel like you'd have better adjectives.
Okay.
Okay. Like, are you a fine guy? When your wife comes out and says, how do I look, Joe, do you say fine?
No, I see you look great.
You say great?
Beautiful, lovely. What do you want to say?
Lovely? It's very clinical. You have kids.
Depends on who it comes from. Yeah, I think different adjectives, different words have different meaning depending on what person they come from and how that person, what the intent behind it. Don't you think?
Well, beautiful. You look beautiful. I don't know. I guess, yeah. I mean, if Angela says I look beautiful.
Let's go back to the internal reports on Tom Cruise.
Go ahead. Okay, sorry, go ahead. So, yeah, so let's say you and I went out. We went out one night. We're going out for dinner.
Right.
A group of us.
And something you didn't
like. And
I
saw you doing something that's not, like, for the book. I have to write a report on you.
Are you allowed to drink?
Not really.
No. Okay, what if I got lit up?
I'd probably write a report and say...
Brought some shots over. Come on, fuck it. LRH would love it.
Let's
do it to LRH. Clink.
Okay, so then I write a report on you. And I say, Joe was acting inappropriate. He was making fun of L. Ron Hubbard, because you're not allowed to joke and degrade L. Ron Hubbard. There's a policy called jokers and degraders.
Jokers and degraders.
Yes, you and I would be very much. I've been, yes.
Ooh, have you been in trouble for that?
Many times. So I would have to write a report. It's called writing you up. I'd have to write you up because let's say you went into like the next day for a session and they said, they do the check. They do a check on you every day. Do you have an upset? Do you have a present time problem? Or are you withholding anything? Now, if you were a real Scientologist, you would know that you probably shouldn't be drinking, carrying on, because there's a 24-hour rule. You can't drink 24 hours before you're going to be doing a service. Remember, you're required to go in every day.
So you never can drink.
Right. And if you do, you consider it a transgression. So that's on your mind that you're withholding this information.
Now, if you went on a vacation and you knew that you were going to make it up when you got back,
yeah, that's okay.
Then you can have a couple of Mai Tais.
Because you're not going in. Okay.
That's the only time then.
Correct. Or if you're just not getting a service, but that's if you're not getting a service.
Every day.
Correct. So you'd go in and you'd say, okay, so I went out last night. I ordered, a bunch of shots, and I made a comment to L. Ron Hubbard or whatever. And they go, okay, great. When was it? Who'd you do it with? Who was there? They write down all the names. It's also being recorded. And they're writing everything down. Who knew about it will be the next question. Who knew about it? You'd say, well, Leah was there. They go, Leah was there. Okay, interesting. Then that person's going to write, Leah knew about it and didn't do anything about it. Then I'd get pulled in. Why didn't you write a report on Joe? Because Joe just admitted that he was drinking, carrying on, and you didn't write him up. Do you see what I'm saying? So it creates that kind of environment.
So it's a rat environment.
Correct. So I was writing up Tom, and I was writing up David Miscavige.
So what did you write up Tom for?
Jumping on couches and being inappropriate. I thought he was being inappropriate.
What was he jumping on couches for?
Well, when he did Oprah, I thought it was a bad example.
You wrote him up for that?
I also wrote
Oprah?
up John for the Battlefield Earth. I thought it was
for the movie itself. First of all, that movie was awesome. If you haven't seen Battlefield Earth, it's one of my favorite unintentional
You're an
comedies.
Idiot. Don't even joke.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But awesome because it's so terrible.
Ridiculous.
It's so terrible it becomes good. It crosses over that
You're right.
roadhouse.
It does. After a while, you're right.
Yeah.
It does, yes.
It's like, what's that movie with the dancing one with Elizabeth Berkley? Showgirls.
Showgirls, yes,
Showgirls.
yes.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
As
That's
far as
probably
like a
the top.
terrible movie
Yes.
that becomes awesome because
Yes.
it's so bad. You're like, what in the fuck were they doing?
Right, and it's fantastic.
Exactly.
You're like,
That's-
this is, yes, I get it.
Battlefield Earth is right up there.
Right, so I did things like that. Not that I was a great example, nor am I a great example. But
So
here,
you wrote a whole thing about him jumping up on Oprah's couch.
yes, but I also listen. I gave myself up. I was writing.
Right.
I was writing myself up. I was writing my mother up. I was
But
writing my husband up.
He jumped up on Oprah's couch because he was in love, right? Supposedly. He jumped up, I
Well,
love
that's
her,
what
I
they
love her,
told
I
me.
love her.
They pulled me in and they said, could it be that you're just not as high on a scale like in life, like you're so basically they were saying like you're a bitch, so you can't understand that kind of love. Because I was like, right, I guess because I've been married 20 years, I don't understand jumping on a couch. But I thought it wasn't a good example because I cared so much about my church and the work that we were doing, and I didn't want the church to be seen as a joke or one of its senior members, which he's considered a senior Scientologist.
So you just thought it was inappropriate, it was out of line. So
Yeah, and I
you
just
felt
wanted
like you
him-
had an obligation.
Right. I mean, listen, I'm not perfect. I mean, of course, there's many things that would be considered a bad example in my everyday. I'm not a great example. But at the time, I thought I was pretty pristine.
But looking at it now, you feel like it's totally innocuous. He's just on a couch jumping around having a good time.
Yes, but
Yeah.
if you knew how serious Scientology was about clearing the planet, it did not go with
Right.
our intentions and our goals. So anyway, I was writing him up, and I was writing everybody up, and I was writing everybody up at the wedding because I thought our senior executives were, and I was like wiring them back from Italy from my hotel room, calling one of my closest friends who was a Scientologist, and I'm like, and then I need you to write this. I need you to write this verbatim. I need you to write this verbatim, and I need you to get this to the Watchdog Committee. And I think I hurled.
You were frantic?
Frantic, babe. Like I was frantic, and I was heartbroken because it's like seeing, if you believe that the C organization and the people at the higher, that are senior executive strata of your church are living a pristine and perfect life that you're trying to aspire to, that you're spending your day and night and money and time, like this is what we're trying to be, and I'm seeing not great examples of what this is now. Like, it's seeing behind the curtain. I was like, I don't want to see this. And I really thought I was going to save the church. I thought my writing reports was like, I'm going to take over the church, and I'm going to get it right by L. Ron Hubbard. I really still believed in the policies of L. Ron Hubbard. I just believed they were bending the rules for a celebrity. And I was like, he's a celebrity. Who gives a shit what he's doing? Like, he's a Scientologist first and a celebrity second to me. So that's why it's difficult. I don't want to talk shit about another actor because we've all met asshole actors, and we're not really supposed to be talking about them. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you don't hear that a lot. You don't hear a lot of actors doing that to other actors. But for me, it was just a Scientologist.
Right. So you take out these reports on him.
I write these reports. I'm sent to Florida immediately, the Mecca, the hub of Scientology.
Clearwater.
That's right. For interrogations. No, and I mean like interrogations.
So you have to fly out there.
I fly out there. I'm in the room. I'm in a room, with cameras, with my person who is armed with information, unbeknownst to me, of a stack of reports that were written on me by everybody who worked for Tom. A stack. Now, let me tell you
Because
something.
Tom found out about your report, so he decided that everyone who works for him has to take out a report on you.
I don't know what he knew, but that is the church is very much involved with his life. He's staffed by people who work for the church. No non-Scientologist works for him. But it was, if you say something bad about this person, you are talking about God. And I was asked, do you have sexual intentions towards him? What are your evil intentions towards him? What are your evil intentions towards David Miscavige? What are your evil intentions towards L. Ron Hubbard? And it was 3 months of this. And I had to retract everything I said. I said I made it all up. I didn't see any of it.
Whoa.
To get out of there. And so then
Wow.
when I came back to LA, they said they want to see you again here in Celebrity Center. So I went to Celebrity Center. And they said, look, everything that was done to you was wrong. I was like, right, I know that. We just want to let it go. You need to let it go because if the fact that you're not letting go means that you're guilty of the crimes that you're saying.
I'm confused.
accusing-
So they're saying that everything was wrong that was done to you in Florida. Why
But
are they
they
saying
wouldn't-
that?
because they wanted me to come back, because I was kind of like, when I came back from Florida, I was kind of not really a dedicated Scientologist anymore. But I wasn't doing anything to rock the boat with my family. And
How long were you in Florida for?
3 months.
3 months of dealing with this?
Mm-hmm.
3 months? Every day for 3 months?
I had to write apology letters.
90 days? So you're there for 90 days,
Yeah,
all you're talking about is Tom Cruise's
It was during
wedding.
my hiatus on King of
Holy
Queens.
shit.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing most of the time. And
You have a family? You're married?
my mother was there, my daughter was there, my husband was there.
And how much of the day are you spending on
All
this
day.
stuff?
All day.
All day, every day?
Did you see Defending Your Life?
No.
Oh, God, you have to see it.
What is it?
It's a movie where Meryl Streep and I forgot the other guy. Anyway, they die and they go into the holding cell, like, where they're going to decide their fate. Are they going back to Earth, which is considered hell, or are they going on to heaven? And Meryl Streep lived a pristine life, and they review your life, right? And they have judges and everything, right? So they review good moments and bad moments of your life, and they decide, are you going to go on, or are you going to go back to hell? And Meryl Streep was, of course, pristine, but then the guy that I'm just forgetting his name. But they were looking at times where he didn't stick up for himself, or where he pussied out of something, right? And so they were judging him pretty harshly, right? They were like, you need to come back in the morning, and like it was like an all day of like, we're reviewing 120 days of your life, right?
Right.
Meryl Streep, like, they looked at like 5 days, and they were like, don't worry, just come back when you can. That was me. Like, my mother was there to do some fluff thing, and she was like, oh, come have lunch with me. And my person was like, be back in 10 minutes, Leah. Go get a sandwich and eat in the elevator, and you need to be back here in 10 minutes. It was like, for me, it was like defending your life, because my mother was just like, she didn't know what was going on. You don't usually tell your family what you're doing. I wouldn't tell my husband what was happening to me, because I didn't want to create. Can you imagine this?
Did you meet your husband in Scientology?
No, my husband was out. He was never in. But
How's
I
that
made him a
possible?
Scientologist.
Oh, you made him one.
I made him a Scientologist, which was good, because he was still kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't like, he was still kind of freaky a little bit, still believed in slapping an ass once in a while. So like I kind of got like the good of both worlds.
Best of both worlds? you can't slap asses if you're in Scientology?
No, it's considered aberrated.
What about choking?
Absolutely not. It would be, honestly, you would be considered like there's something really wrong with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you a slapper?
No.
Oh,
No.
I didn't think so. You say things like nice.
Yeah, nice. Anyway, so you're there for 90 days.
Yeah.
You're there 90 days.
And I'm not telling my family what I'm going through. I'm not, because I don't want to create a bad situation for the church. Like, how crazy is that? Like,
so
I'm
all day
defending
you're
the
just
church.
like reviewing these papers.
I'm admitting my crimes. I'm saying maybe I do have evil, and maybe I do. Maybe I didn't see what I saw.
And you don't know
Maybe
these people, right? These people that you're meeting with in Florida?
No, they assign you a person.
But you hadn't met them previously?
No.
So there's just some person with paperwork, and they're going over your...
Well, they have you on the meter. They have you on the lie detector test. I mean, on the light, with the cans that you're talking about. Yeah. You're in a room that's locked.
And that thing doesn't do anything, right? That e-meter?
Well, it does something. I don't exactly. I mean, there is an actual explanation for it in the real world. I'm not smart enough to retell it to you. But if I was to have a meter here and you had a thought, I could show you. It does register that you thought something.
Right, but you can't really differentiate what those thoughts are.
No,
what they
but as someone who trains in Scientology, all you're trained to do, what I was doing, I was training to administer Scientology to people, was learning to do that. And I would learn to say, Joe, what was that thought? What was that thought? I don't know what you're thinking, but I just know that you had a thought.
Right.
And so I ask you a question, and then I look at the meter to see that it registered on the meter. And regardless of what you want to talk about, we're only going to talk about what I see on the meter.
Right. And then there's also, it's open to suggestion, right? You could say, is this a moment where you had doubt? Is this a moment where you were angry?
Yes.
And then the person has to think, wow, was it?
Yes.
And then they start convincing you.
Correct.